Senior living is it's a very American problem. And what I mean by that is in China and India, there aren't senior living communities. It's very much an American thing for us to put our seniors into senior living.
As I've gotten more, in years with doing this business, it's really truly about helping. And, we do stuff where we help people in tax delinquency. We help people with this same strategy that you are. You're obviously doing a lot more than we are, but it's like at the end of the day, are you helping somebody? And in this particular case, you're truly helping somebody because if the listeners that are on right now, if you don't understand, with Medicaid, Medicare, if mom has this house and it's sitting there, they're not going to qualify. They need to have those funds gone within a certain period of time in order for them to qualify for any type of help from Medicaid and Medicare. It's kind of goofy, but that's what happens. Well, because if they realize, oh, well, Joanne's got this house free and clear, and according to the tax assessor, it's worth 200 grand. Well, you need to sell that house before we're going to help you out, and all of the funds have to be gone before we even consider helping you.
That's right.
It's crazy with how that happens. How do you approach these senior living facilities?
Well, if you think you're just going to walk right in and put your hand out and start talking to people, you're going to get kicked out on your ass because they're super busy. They're, putting out 140 fires a day of 140 families that they're helping. There's ways to connect with them that I teach that are definitely not just walking in and trying to figure it out on the fly. These are very serious companies. They're very insulated.
Yeah.
The senior living community is, as investors, even that word investor looks at as negative word on the surface for them. So I teach you how to show them what your value is and why. And as soon as you unlock that, then you become their best friend because you help them with their big problems. And so, you had talked about earlier this house being worth 200 grand, and now they can't apply, or they don't qualify for Medicaid. The strategy that I talk about is that senior living is it's a very American problem. And what I mean by that is in China and India, there aren't senior living communities. It's very much an American thing for us to put our seniors into senior living. And the reason why I bring that up is that they want you to be destitute before Medicaid kicks in, right? And so when Americans, these adult children bring mom, and when I say adult children, we're talking about 60-year-olds helping 80-year-olds, right? So these adult children in their 60s, there's a lot of guilt of, we can't take care of mom anymore. She's going to go into a community, right?
Yeah.
There's guilt there. So what do we do as Americans to get rid of that guilt? We put mom in the most expensive place that we can find, right? And so in Missouri, the average there's private pay and then there's Medicaid communities, Jason, right? There's two different ones.
Right.
They're very, very different.
Very different.
The guilt side of us, we want to put mom in the best, right? So if they sell the house right away and they can pay 1 year of private pay, a lot of these communities will let mom stay there post 1 year after that 200 grand is gone and live out the rest of her days in that better community. So you better believe what we do is super important for the family and the mom to get the best care, even if it's just to make themselves feel better that they put mom in the most expensive one.
Right.
So that's a big deal. I mean, to do that house, some Americans have a lot of money, but most Americans don't. And all their equity is tied up in that house.
It's true, man. That's what happened, because a lot of these folks are older and they've been in the same house. They were probably the first owner of most of these houses, and they paid off the house decades ago.
Yep.
And they've got this, and most of the people back in that day when they would buy a house, either be in the 50s or 60s, they would look at that as being, okay, well, when we get to the age of where we're going to retire, this house is going to be free and clear, we'll sell it, and we'll be able to go someplace like Florida or Arizona and live out the rest of our lives. Unfortunately, illnesses happen, diseases happen, and sometimes plans go down a totally different path.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a really great opportunity for you to step in and help somebody. And once you do, once you show the elder care advisor, the consultant at the individual that really kind of handles the finances for these folks, why don't you tell us what happens when you close on maybe one or two of you?
They become your ally. Once you show them that you can solve this problem for them in a quicker manner, it makes them more profitable as a community. So when you look at a senior living community, as if it's a apartment building, there's occupancy like in an apartment building, just like in senior living. These customers, these tenants only live about 2.5 years is the average length of stay. So anything we can do as investors on the front end to make that be sped up makes them more profitable with the same customers they already have. Because there's a giant issue of the front end of getting that house's equity unlocked. So you help the senior living community to be more profitable with the clients they already have.
That's exactly right. That number's pretty accurate up here as well, as far as length of stay. And
that was the national average that I gave. That it's 2.5 years is the national average.
Yeah, and that's in my opinion, that's short. So they have
short
quite a bit.
If you look at 280 units and everyone's passing away or moving on after 2.5 years, they're turning over all the time. And so every time you see a crane in the sky building a new senior living, that's our opportunity, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.